Good evening. Shall we get started? I think we should. So welcome to our council meeting, and it's good to see everybody here. And welcome to those that are watching online. And tonight, this is Snake River Stampede Rodeo Week, and so hence the Western apparel. And council, we're gonna have to, tomorrow, it's Western Day, so we have workshops, right? And we can be in jeans and cowboy boots. Shall we do that? To support the rodeo. Anyway, so we'd like to begin this evening, and I want to say thank you to Pastor Henson. Reverend, I'm not sure how to address you. We have not met, but thank you for coming this evening. So you are with the Nampa East Stake, is that correct? And you're the... Thank you. Go ahead and come up, and then you can open us in prayer, and then we look forward to meeting your son.
Absolutely.
Okay?
So my name is Ren Hansen. I'm the stake president of the Nampa East Stake for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Thank you so much for being here to lead us in prayer. So let's stand and...
Our dear Heavenly Father, we come before Thee this evening with gratitude in our hearts for the opportunity for us to serve faithfully the city of Nampa and the residents here. We ask Thee a special blessing upon the mayor and the city council and all those in representing the city today, that they will have the Spirit with them, that they will be wise in the decisions that they make, and that they can be comforted and to know that the decisions they make today will benefit their children of the future. We are grateful for the blessings of living in such a great and wonderful land in the state of Idaho in the United States of America. We ask Thee in Thy hand will bless us and bless this great nation. And we say these things with gratitude in our hearts for these blessings. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. And then how about, would your son like to lead us in the pledge? Shall we put you on the spot? Come on up and you can begin and we'll go there. Shall we do that? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Would you like to introduce yourself? Dad, you can help if you want.
My name is Blake Hansen. And I'm with the Boy Scouts of America. And I've been working on the citizenship and the community merit badge. And I was just wanting to know if you guys had any plans for the Nampa Greenbelt extension and what is being done with it.
Well, that's a really good question. Didn't expect it. And is Darren, would you like to answer that question? Go ahead, and I'll let you provide him with just a brief answer.
Yeah, thank you. We had a moment to talk just a little bit before this meeting, but the timing is very good for this because next year, the Stoddard Pathway, we have about a mile that we're adding to the Stoddard Pathway. It currently ends at Iowa, but it'll go from Iowa going south all the way to Sherman and eventually to Second. And then another project that we have that's just right around the corner starting next year is a pathway that starts at McDonough Park. It's right by Centennial Golf Course, and it goes about a half mile, maybe a mile to the east there. So those are both grant projects that we have already planned to start in the spring.
Darren, thank you, and I hope that answers your question initially. Thank you,
Mayor.
and I have a pen for you, but go ahead.
Mayor, may I please? Blake, I did get your text, and I'll be happy to help you, and I'll get back with you shortly. Thank you.
Okay, Blake, let me give you a pen. Thank you for coming. Appreciate that's our City of Nampa pen, and thank you so much. And thank you to, is it Ren Hansen, is that correct? Thank you for being here and opening us in prayer, it's appreciated. With that, let's call our meeting to order and begin with roll call. Rodriguez?
Here.
Bruner?
Here.
Hogaboom?
Here.
Levi?
Present?
Haverfield?
Here.
Skog?
Here.
And proposed amendments to the agenda. Is there anything that needs to be amended on our agenda that you are aware of, Council? Seeing nothing, I would stand for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Hogaboom,
Yes.
Levi,
Yes.
Haverfield,
Yes.
Skog,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Brunner.
Yes.
All right, so our next item on the agenda, let me get to my right page here, I put stuff in the middle, is proclamations. And we do not have any, get this down here, we don't have, I'm sorry, boy, that didn't work for the internet, did it? It just squeaked and I was not online. I didn't even follow my own rules, so excuse me. So we do not have any proclamations this evening. And the next thing on the agenda is where a resident or non-resident would like to speak on an agenda or non-agenda item. It's actually Nampa residents. And Amy, thank you so much. So you have the opportunity to speak for 3 minutes, and we have a couple of people here that are signed up. And we'll start with Rick Wernst. And Rick, thank you for sharing your address, if it's an agenda or non-agenda item.
Thank you. It would be a non-agenda.
Okay?
Just have a question. I'm looking for some direction from the council. I'm in somewhat of a new transplant to Idaho. I've lived in the state of Illinois. Glad to be in Idaho. Loving Idaho, and I think you guys are doing a great job here in Nampa. But I have one issue that I'd like to address, if I may, because I'm not sure where to go with it or how to begin. It's something that you're all very, very aware of. Fireworks. I live in the Sunset Oaks subdivision over off the Franklin exit, over by the park over there. And every 4 years that I've lived here, it's been like a war zone in my neighborhood with the fireworks that are going off. It's my understanding, I've been trying to do a little bit of investigating, trying to find out what the law is and what isn't true, but I'm not fully aware of all the laws. But I'm getting very angry with the abuse of the fireworks. And I have a dog, and I have a neighbor that, I have neighbors that have pets, and I'm sure you're fully aware of where I'm going with this. What it does to animals, and the late hours, and the abuse. I live over by the fire department, over in that area. And one of the abusers that I thought was really abusing the whole thing, was shooting right off in front of the fire department, which I thought was pretty ironic and pretty brass. And so what I'm asking you, I want to start locally, and I'm going to go. I'm going down. I want to meet the governor. I want to meet the senators. I want to meet everybody. I want my voice to be heard. I want some answers. I want to know if the city is going to address this abuse, and I'd like to know what the fines are for people that that are being fined, and if so, if we can increase those fines to make it a little bit heavier on them, to make them think twice about what they're doing. I don't want to be a Scrooge. I believe in the fireworks. I love the 4th of July. I'm very patriotic, but it's the abuse is what's got to stop. And so that's what I'd like to address your council members and the mayor with this evening.
Thank you for bringing this forward. And council, would anyone like to provide any comment? What we will do is get back to you. The one thing that I will say is that I think that the issue, we've got a couple of different issues here. One is at the city level on enforcement. And needless to say, it's very difficult to enforce with the level of police officers that we have, just because there are so many. Personally, I think it begins at the state level, because the state is allowing the sale of fireworks that are illegal in the state. And it really begins there, for the state to address it. And I think to address it at the state level, because it's very difficult to enforce at the local level when the state is allowing it. And so when we allow fireworks to be sold that we know are not legal, and then someone is to sign that they're not going to set them off, it makes it very difficult for locals.
One of the questions that I'd like to find an answer to is the fact that these guys can sell these fireworks right out, and they just have to sign a form saying they're not going to shoot it, is just ludicrous in my opinion. So I'm curious if you can get back to me on this. I want to know who is benefiting from the sale of these fireworks, of these illegal fireworks, because I don't know if it's a lobbyist or what's going on, but I want some answers. I want to know what's going on,
Because if it's illegal, it's illegal. And so if the city, if the state wants to stop it, they can stop it. And I want to know why they don't want to stop it.
Well, needless to say, the Idaho Press Tribune is listening this evening. I don't think they're actually present. And one thing I appreciate about the reporters is the digging that they do. And so it's very likely that Erin Bamer, as she would probably be covering this, will do some of that research. We would be happy to get back to you from the city standpoint to provide you with our information. But beyond that, I think it is something that should be addressed at the state level. So thank you for bringing it forth. It's appreciated.
Mayor, I may just add one little thing, and our own fire chief is back here, but I know the one fire chief, in which our chief is totally aware, is the fire chief in Boise. If I'm just making the suggestion, you contact Chief Dennis Doan. He has been working on this for a couple, 3 years, really lobbying heavy with the state legislature. And I don't know if he has a group already in Boise or whether, that are, getting on this and backing, but you might want to find out, at least contact him. He's very amenable to contact. I've known him.
And excuse me, but he would be, how would I reach him?
Well, he's the fire chief in Boise, Idaho.
City of Boise.
City of Boise. Dennis Doan.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you so much.
And our
for your
chief
time.
may have some suggestions for you also if you talk to him on the way out.
And I love Idaho.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your comments. It's appreciated. Our next person up is Blake Hansen. Oh, that's right, Blake, excuse me, but thank you for signing up. And our last one is Margie Potter with Salvation Army. I think you have some guests here tonight.
I do. First, Margie Potter with the Salvation Army, 403 12th Avenue South in Nampa, and the best-run city in the United States, right? A couple of things before I make an introduction here. I wanted to let everybody know that Chick-fil-A on Thursday is donating 15% of all sales to the Salvation Army. So if you want to support the Salvation Army and eat more chicken, like they say, then head on over there and help benefit people here locally. Also, I wanted to let everybody know that we have our back-to-school signups happening here pretty quick, August 1st and 2nd. We'll be doing signups for people that are in need of backpacks and school supplies, and along with that, we need the donations for that as well. So if you would like to donate some school supplies, then just can drop them off, like I said, 403 12th Avenue South. And I will leave the flyer. I'm going to give that to Amy, so people, if they need assistance with that, they'll be able to sign up for that also and get the dates. So the reason that I'm really up here for tonight is that some of you are aware that Salvation Army changes their officers every so often, and Majors Mike and Nancy Halverson are over in Boise now and running the Boise Salvation Army, and they're also, Major Mike's going to be the Capitol liaison to the Capitol. It's like a new position in the Salvation Army in every state capital. And Major Nancy is also now our EDS coordinator, so Emergency Disaster Services coordinator for the whole Treasure Valley. So if there's ever a disaster, we have an in. No, So with that, them going over there, we got new officers here. So we have Captains Ricky and Sylvia Scruggs, and come on up here. And I think that Counselor Hagabaum is going to be super excited because you'll see why in a second, because he'll tell you about it.
On pins and needles.
Welcome, and I'll let you start by going ahead and saying your names again so that we can get them for our records.
Well, hello everyone, and my name is Captain Sylvia Scruggs, and Ricky and I were captains with the Salvation Army. We've been with the Salvation Army for 6 years now. This is our 6th year, second appointment. Our first appointment was in Pendleton, Oregon, and when they announced that we were going to Pendleton, Oregon, because nobody knows where they're going to send you, where you'll be commissioned. And so when they said Pendleton, Oregon, I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know where this is, but okay. We were thinking we were going to stay in southern Arizona because that's where I'm from. And I thought it was going to be rainy and snowy. It's not. But Pendleton does have a big rodeo. But I was so excited to hear that you guys have a big rodeo as well. And the attire, I can totally relate to the turquoise and the jeans. And I just want to say thank you for welcoming us. The very first person to welcome us into this building was Mayor, and I appreciate that. And if there's anything that we can do as the Salvation Army, it's to serve and to help out our community, because now it is our community as well. So thank you so much. I know that some of you are on the board, and I can't wait to meet you. And if you're not on the board, we will recruit you. Just kidding. I'm a cheerleader by heart, and I'm always rooting people on. And if there's anything, like I said, that we can do to help this community grow and be more of a tight-knit community, I'm here for you. Thank you for letting me speak.
I'm Ricky Scruggs. It seems like Margie has asked me to divulge that I played professional baseball. Prior to coming into the Salvation Army, I owned a 22,000 square foot hitting facility for about 15 years, 12 years, and then I sold it. Still going today in Tucson, Arizona, kind of a hotbed of baseball. And so I'm looking forward to getting involved with the sports. I love to do the kids. We do a mega sports camp every year, and that'll start next year. We'll start doing mega sports camp and stuff. So we love to do that, and we also love partnering with the city because nobody can do anything alone, and the Salvation Army can really help in some areas. So, and you guys can help us. So God bless, and we just appreciate it. I do want to also say that, like Sylvia, I want to echo that I never knew anything about the Northwest except for a little bit of stops when I played ball, and then I didn't know anything about how it was run and how it was done. And this is just a great place. We really like it. It kind of feels a little bit like Pendleton, but only bigger and
With the Chick-fil-A.
with the Chick-fil-A, which that's a bonus right there. The restaurants are much better. So we just really are happy to be here. We're excited to get our feet wet with you guys. All right.
So Mary, I'm curious, the Hogaboom connection, baseball or what? What do we?
I think
That's what-
baseball.
I
And so do you know who his favorite team is?
I have no idea. I don't want to. It better not start with a Y.
Oh, those Yankees. No.
Oh, he's a pastor, it's Angels.
Yeah. So let me ask
Get
you,
along, as long as it's not a Y.
so let me ask you, are you a golfer? Because we're looking for a fourth player in our golf that ain't not very good.
I am one of my best friends is a peak performance coach to the likes of J.B. Holmes and a lot of Jordan Speed, and so he used to work with me down in my facility, and so I have been listening about golf for a long time, and in the past, recently was ministering, helping a guy, and his thing was golf, so I've been golfing about 5-6 times in the past year, which is a lot more than ever, and I am getting into it.
Oh,
So
there you
I am
go.
ready.
Well, between Randy and I and Rick,
It's a wide course, and it's open.
yeah, but you're a baseball swinger. You can't do that. That's retire.
Yeah, it's different, but I'm in. Just
You need to talk to Darren about the city pass to our 2 golf courses. It's a good deal. You can golf all you want. It costs you, but it's a good deal.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Good, we'll keep you in mind.
We welcome you.
Welcome.
We look forward to working with you guys. We're excited. Thank you. Is there anyone else that had intended to sign up for the 3-minute time this evening? Seeing none, I think we'll move on to mayor and council comments. And the first comment is that I made it actually as we started, and this is Snake River Stampede Rodeo Week. The rodeo starts tomorrow night and runs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with 2 performances on Saturday. Tomorrow morning is the pancake breakfast. If anybody likes pancakes, it starts at 7 a.m. at the Fort Idaho Center, and the proceeds go to our local 4-H club. So it's a wonderful tradition in our community that we're really proud of. And so I just thought I'd mention that. The other thing I wanted to talk to council real briefly this evening, and I talked to Mark Hilty about this earlier today. As we look at our agenda for the next 2 days, I just wanted to touch bases. My understanding is that we've posted the agenda and it's set, but tomorrow I have an hour and a half, I believe, set aside for lunch. I can't find my other agenda, but I believe I have an hour and a half set aside. And so do you guys want an hour and a half for lunch, or shall we just plan on shortening our lunch time? I gave us a good amount of time, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Excuse me, Madam Mayor, was that the day we're going over to the ribbon cutting?
No, that's the next day, and I want to talk about that next, that break. So any comments on that?
Mayor,
Yep.
the president can decide, that's a lawyer's lunch hour. We don't need that, in my opinion, but to me, 45 minutes, or, I don't think. we
What
have
it'll
any
do is
fire.
it'll shorten our day. We'll get out the door earlier. We do have Mayor's Night at the Rodeo, which it'll be tight, so we can shorten it. So I thought I would go ahead and make, let everybody know to, right now, that we may shorten it. Do you guys want to do that? It's a thought?
I'm in favor of that.
1 hour, 1 hour's good.
Okay, 1 hour. Okay.
45.
So then the next day, we, go ahead.
With the caveat that certain people need to honor the fact that we're trying to shorten the day. I'm
Are you
sorry.
pointing at someone in particular on the other side of
Yeah.
me somewhere?
I'm sorry.
Are you looking at me? I'm not
No,
sure which.
I was looking past you.
I know exactly who he's looking at, Mayor.
Okay.
That's fine.
He's looking at Rick.
So whoever that was, okay, did we get it? The message? Okay, got the message. Okay. Okay, so on Thursday, we may go ahead and upload this agenda. I had scheduled us 11 to 12:30. The time frame, and this is a break for lunch, and just so everyone knows, the Rescue Mission Recovery Lodge is a Boise Rescue Mission initiative. It's a lodge for those that are homeless, that are getting out of the hospital, for a place to recover. Because it's very difficult sometimes if you have a newborn that's been in ICU, you've just had a heart cath, open heart surgery, or something major, and then you're going back into a homeless shelter. And so they purchased this recovery lodge. I'm extremely thrilled that it's in Nampa. And so the grand opening of that is on Wednesday, and the actual time they have set from 11:30 to 1. I had our break from 11 to 12:30. It says the program is 11:30 to 12:30, and I said we can't stay for an hour. But shall we push back and not break at 11, but break maybe a little closer, or do we just want to leave it as is? We tried to get hold of them, couldn't today, so,
Do we adjust on the fly tomorrow if we, or
yes.
find out?
Yes, so we won't upload anything, but we probably will be adjusting. Staff, just know that we're going to adjust our schedule a little bit, and I'll let everybody know that tomorrow, whoever is after, at that 1:30 time needs to be here at 1. We'll be pushing that up. It'll help us get out the door a little earlier at the end of the day. I think our minds will be fresher. Okay, and then we'll talk about Wednesday tomorrow, okay? And I don't have anything else. Council, do you have anything else that you would like to discuss under mayor and council comments?
Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to bring special attention to our senior center staff and volunteers. I've had the privilege of just hanging out with these people for about the last 6 years because I love that generation. I love the wisdom they have to offer in their stories, and going to lunch there a couple times a year. And I also am privileged to be the liaison for the Council on the Aging. And first off, that board takes their responsibilities so seriously, and I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing and the level of compassion they have. And then the staff and volunteers, it is just awesome to me. My neighbor across the street goes to the senior center on a regular basis, and he had a very serious medical issue 2 months ago. And the staff and volunteers have taken it upon themselves to come and take care of his yard. And they're footing the bill, they're doing everything, and they're just going above and beyond, and they're doing it because they want to do it. And that's what Nampa is all about. And when I see that, it just really warms my heart. So if by chance they're listening or you know of them, give them a thanks and a pat on the back and a word of encouragement.
Thank you. I appreciate hearing that. Thank you. Is there anything else? Okay, the next item on our agenda are agency and commission reports, and we do not have any agency and commission reports, so we will move to staff communications, and our next staff communication is regarding Experience Midway Park event. And Darren.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Aaron Johnson, Parks and Recreation Director. Tonight is a special night for us because we get to share one of our volunteers, Infinity Sigmund. She's going to share some of the work that she's been doing for our agency. She's working on a senior project, and so it's been so nice having her spend part of her summer with us. A special thank you to Jennifer, who has guided Infinity through the process. It's been a good fit with Jennifer having a master's degree in business and many years of experience in marketing and administration. But tonight we would like to introduce Infinity. Again, she's a student. She's so sharp that you'll think that she's a teacher or maybe one of the administrators there. But she'll be working on her senior project, and we're looking forward to attending that. So, Infinity?
Thank you, Darren. I just want to thank you, Mayor and City Council, for letting me come out tonight. It is a great experience. I don't know any other kids my age that have been able to do this, and it's been a great experience. And thank you to Jennifer. She's been great, and I've got to meet so many wonderful people. So I'd just like to introduce myself for some of you that don't know me. I am Infinity Sigmund, and I go to Nampa High School. I will be a senior this year. My senior project, one of the parts of it is I have to do 20 hours with a mentor. So I contacted Jennifer, and she's been a trooper, and it's been great. And 20 hours seems like overabundance and so much and so hard work, but it's been great. I don't think I've been able to sit down for 10 minutes when I'm with her. I get to go to our graphic designer or with Darren and do a bunch of different things with them, which has been great. And another thing that I would like to kind of get personal with is Nampa Rec Center introduced me to softball. I have played softball for 8 years and am going to continue it with college ball. And I want to say thank you so much for having that program, or having different sports and athletics for different children of, all ages or backgrounds that are able to come out and do it. It's been great and phenomenal. And I've had so many, I met friends there and coaches that I still am in contact with today. So that's been amazing. Thank you so much. And I would like to talk about Experience Midway. I asked Jennifer about 2 weeks ago if I could take on a little project, kind of do myself with her help and with the graphic designer. And we actually had a marketing meeting that day. And so when we sat down, the other marketer, Carrie, kind of brought it up and was like, oh, well, we need to do this and this for it and get it done pretty soon. It is July 27th. And Jennifer turned to me and was like, that would be perfect for you. It's not too big, it's not too small, something that you could take on. And so it's been so much fun. I've got to work with Barry, our graphic designer, on making the flyer for it, sending it out, making sure that all the wording is correct, all the little stuff. And I got to work with Jennifer for all the write-ups and everything like that, and posting it on community calendars. So that'll be so much fun. And if some of you don't know what Experience Midway is, it is something that we want to invite the community and you all out to on July 27th from 10 to 12 a.m. Just kind of getting the community out, seeing the new phases of what Midway has to offer, which is the pickleball fields, or our little court, and the playground. So we're going to have the community come out, hopefully a big turnout, and just get to play and see everything. So, yeah, thank you guys so much.
Infinity, it has been a delight meeting you. And you know what? Someday we need you back at the city helping us with our programs as we move forward. So depending on what your degree is, stay in touch. Thank you for your work. It's exciting. And how cool, isn't it neat to hear about the softball beginning and leading to a college scholarship, right? That's pretty cool.
Mayor, maybe a long-term succession program for Darren, 20 years from now. Right?
Well, he'll be about 90 then. I'd like to see you pitch against old Rick there and see if you can strike him out, underhanded.
I was just curious, Infinity, is that your family over there?
Yeah, this is actually my dad, Dustin, and one of my brothers, Paxton. My other family can't make it. My little brother is epileptic and had a seizure today, so my mom and him are at the hospital.
Oh. Prayers and thoughts with
he's
your family.
doing okay?
Yeah, he's actually great.
Okay.
He gets to come home.
Okay, good.
Well, I'm sorry they didn't get to be here to watch you, but it is online, so they can record it. And you did an absolutely outstanding job. Thank you.
So much. I appreciate you guys listening to me today. It means a lot. Thank you.
Great job. Good job, Dad. Thank you. Our next staff report. Tom, how do you beat that? You can't.
Mayor, Council, got some news in the staff report. I hope you find it interesting. So one of the things we'd like to do with our transportation and all the needs that we have is form a Nampa Transportation Citizen Advisory Committee. And so we'd like to continue on with the discussion of a transportation master plan, talk to them about funding options, talk to them about the registration fee idea that we've got. There'll be a way for citizens to talk to us about project needs and communicate with us. We'd like to form this committee. Jeff was thinking we'd have quarterly meetings and and we're kind of formatting it similar to we did with the NWAG, where if you recall our Nampa Wastewater Advisory Group, that group really helped us kind of refine our program, and we had a lot of success with that. So we're working on our charter right now, and you know, I'm open for any comments or questions, or if you have some citizens that you know of that might want to be as part of this group, please let us know. And then the next item,
Quick question for you. Is that going to include light rail consideration or only auto and street systems?
it can be light rail, it could be public transportation, it's all modes. So we'll talk about bike and ped, and certainly
Yeah.
can talk about that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea, actually, because we have the continual discussions. Are you thinking that would be a good idea to include?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so then I'm excited about this next one. So Daniel and I met with Dr. Park over there at NNU here a few weeks ago, and we've been talking to him over the last couple of years about engineering and internships, and he's looking to stand up a civil engineering program in NNU. So NNU offers a general engineering course, and then they have the students at the end take 5 or 6 specialty courses in these various engineering items. So they have ag engineering, mechanical engineering. Those are their 2 top ones now. But he'd like to add civil engineering because it's kind of helps well round their program and help be able to do some of these out-of-country projects that NNU is known for. And so we're excited that he's wants to do that. I wanted to give him a letter of support because what this means for Nampa is that now we're growing engineers here in Nampa, which could be future employees for Nampa and keep the jobs in Nampa. So it's could be a really great partnership. So in the letter I said, be glad to come talk to him or anybody that's at NNU about our vision. So any questions about that?
Good job.
Okay, thanks.
That it?
Yeah.
Well, that was easy. Thank you, Tom. Okay, that's the end of our reports and communications, so we'll move on to new business. And our first item, 5.1 on the agenda, is an action item, and this is to award the bid and authorize the mayor to sign a contract for the airport sewer extension to Big Bite in the amount of $41,820.
So move.
I will second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
Skog?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes.
Item 5.2 on the agenda is an action item, and this is for the council to approve the requested right-of-way encroachment for the Greater Life Church property located at 504 South Diamond Street, and allow the mayor to sign the attached encroachment agreement.
I'll make the motion to approve the request as presented to us in the packet.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Brunner?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
Skog?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Item 5.3 on the agenda is to authorize the mayor and public works director to sign the contract with ACS to provide design-build services for the pressure irrigation sub-supervisory control and data acquisition, the SCADA project, which is budgeted in FY19 in the amount of $80,000, $80,589.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Skog?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes.
Item 5.4 on the agenda is an action item to authorize the mayor to sign the Federal Aviation Administration grant offer and sponsor certification, for the Nampa Airport Improvement Program to construct hangar taxi lanes and taxiways at the Nampa Municipal Airport.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
Skog?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
The next action item, 5.5 on the agenda, is the appointment of Nathan Cleaver to the Board of Appraisers to serve as a citizen at large. Included in the packet was the resume and the application letter, and it was reviewed, and it came with a recommendation from Tom Points.
Mayor Kling, I'll make the motion to approve Nathan Cleaver to the Board of Appraisers.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Mayor,
Yes.
I do have a quick question on that. Is there an outline as far as what positions and type of qualifications they have as far as on the historic arts, you know, the architecture, the engineer, et cetera? Is there one for the Board of Appraisers?
I don't believe, well, I'll let Tom answer that question.
Mayor, Councilwoman Levi, we don't have a set criteria for the Board of Appraisers. It is nice when somebody does come like Mr. Cleaver with he's got an engineering degree, understands infrastructure and how it goes together and some of the needs and maintenance. So he's very well qualified, but they don't necessarily have a set qualifications. We've had some citizens that just want to be involved in the city and setting rates, and then they come in and we, as part of the Board of Appraisers, we do a lot of, we start doing staff reports as well to kind of help educate those members so they're up to speed on what the issues are.
And that's exactly what I was looking for, to see if they were just citizens in general. So, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion moves forward. Okay, so that is the end of our public hearings. Not end of our public hearings, the end of our new business. And we're going to skip public hearings, actually start at 7. So let's move to our unfinished business this evening. And we have a number of items and reading of ordinances. So it's going to take a little while. So we will get through these before 7. So item number 1 is an action item, and this is requested to pass under suspension of rules. It's the first reading of ordinance for annexation and zoning to residential district zone at 3500 East Greenhurst. This is a 1.33 acre portion of the southwest section of 36, and I'll let Debbie read that for Roberta Konzik.
An ordinance determining that certain lands commonly known as 3500 East Greenhurst Road, comprising of approximately 1.33 acres more or less, lay contiguous to the city limits of the city of Nampa, county of Canyon, state of Idaho, and that said land should be annexed into the city of Nampa, Idaho, as part of the RD zone, declaring said lands by proper legal description as described below be part of the city of Nampa, Canyon County, Idaho, directing the city engineer and planning and zoning director to add said property to the official maps of the city of Nampa, Idaho, repealing all ordinances, resolutions, orders, and parts thereof in conflict herewith, providing an effective date, and directing the clerk of the city of Nampa to file a certified copy of the ordinance and map of the area to be annexed with Canyon County, state of Idaho, and the Idaho State Tax Commission pursuant to Idaho Code Section 63215.
Would stand for a motion?
Make a motion.
So moved. Under suspension of rules.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes.
Levi? Skog?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Item 7.2 is an action item. This is also requested to pass under suspension of rules. This is the first reading of ordinance vacation of the 10-foot wide public utilities, drainage, and irrigation easement within the Broadmoor Commercial Park, First Edition subdivision plat. There is also, the applicants state they're requesting the vacation of the subject easements because the easements no longer exist, and all public utilities serving the property have been placed in alternate locations. The public hearing was held on 7/1 and approved.
An ordinance of the city of Nampa, Canyon County, Idaho, vacating the 10-foot public utilities, drainage, and irrigation easement located along the west and south sides of Lot 2, Block 2, within the Broadmoor Commercial Park First Edition subdivision plat, and of the 5-foot public utility, drainage, and irrigation easements located along the west side of Lot 1, Block 2, and said subdivision located in the city of Nampa, Idaho, more particularly described below, and directing the city engineer to alter the use and area map accordingly, providing for an effective date, providing for severability, and repealing all ordinances, resolutions, orders, and parts thereof in conflict herewith.
Mayor Kling,
Yes.
I think I need to recuse myself on this project, or this ordinance, so I will in this case.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Is there a motion for approval?
So move under suspension of rule.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion?
Mayor Kling,
Yes.
can I rescind that recusal now that I have looked at the property? It looked very similar to one that I worked on recently, so, but I realize that it's not, so I'm okay.
It's not the same one.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, roll call.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Skog?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes.
Item 7.3 on the agenda is another action item where we are requesting it pass under suspension of rules. It's the first reading of ordinance vacation for the remaining 22 feet of the Greenbelt easement running through the east side of 1024 Augusta Drive. The applicants state they're requesting the vacation of the Greenbelt easement in order to locate an in-ground swimming pool on the property for Brian Crookham. The public hearing for this was on 7/1/2019.
An ordinance of the City of Nampa, Canyon County, Idaho, vacating the remaining 22-foot portion of a 32-foot greenbelt easement running along the east boundary of the property commonly known as 1024 Augusta Drive in the City of Nampa, Idaho, which portions is more particularly described below, and directing the city engineer to alter the area map accordingly, providing an effective date, providing for severability, and repealing all ordinances, resolutions, orders, and parts thereof in conflict herewith.
I'll make the motion, Mayor, under suspension of rules.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Brunner?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Skog?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Item 7.4 on the agenda is also an action item that is requested to pass under suspension of rules. It's the first reading of ordinance vacation of 25 feet times 2,103 feet of right-of-way for Wilson Avenue that is located approximately 2,615 feet north of Cherry Lane between North Franklin Boulevard and 11th Avenue. The applicant states that Wilson Avenue was never improved and is not in alignment with the existing and proposed subdivisions in that area. This is for Heartland Townhomes Property Management, and the public hearing was held on July 1st, 2019.
An ordinance of the City of Nampa, Canyon County, Idaho, vacating 25-foot wide, approximately 1,569-foot long, undeveloped portion of the certain right-of-way known as Wilson Avenue in Nampa, Canyon County, Idaho, and directing the city engineer to alter the use and area map accordingly, providing for an effective date, providing for severability, and repealing all ordinances, resolutions, orders, and parts thereof in conflict herewith.
Make a motion to pass the previously read ordinance under suspension of rules.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Roll call.
Brunner?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Skog?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Item 7.5 is another action item, and it's requested to pass under suspension of rules, and this is the first reading of ordinance correcting ordinance number 4435 for corrections to legal description.
An ordinance enacted by the Nampa City Council amending ordinance number 4435 of the Nampa City, passed by the Council of the City of Nampa, Idaho on the 6th day of May, 2019 by amending Exhibit A of said ordinance by fixing clerical errors, providing for an effective date, providing for severability, and repealing all ordinances, resolutions, orders, and parts thereof in conflict herewith.
Stand for a motion?
Make a motion to pass the ordinance to correct the prior ordinance 4435 as read under suspension of rules.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
Skog?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
The next section on the agenda are pending ordinances, and those are postponed due to lack of supporting documentation, but the list is only 3, which is awesome. We have 15 minutes right now. I would like to ask if we could actually adjourn into our executive session early. And so I would stand for a motion to adjourn into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 74206-1J to consider labor contract matters authorized under Section 67234A.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call.
Brunner?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
Skog?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
We will be back for the public hearings, and we cannot start, just as an FYI, we cannot start the public hearings till 7. And so in that, we have this pause. We will be back to begin the public hearings at 7, and that is so that, because they're posted at 7, that we don't actually miss someone. So we will adjourn into executive session and be back. Thank you for waiting. Needless to say, it took us longer, but I appreciate the patience. So we are coming back in from executive session, and executive session is something that's done in executive session, but no votes are taken, no action is taken. And we are ready to reconvene our meeting. And we are at the section in our meeting that is public hearings, item number 6 on the agenda. And the first public hearing we have this evening is item 6.1 on the agenda. This is an action item. It's the annexation and zoning to RS6, single-family residential, which is 6,000 square feet, at an address to be determined on High Avenue. And this is for Mark and Alina. Oh my goodness, I'm going to say your name. Kondratuk. Did I say that right? Tuk? Kondratuk. I look forward to hearing what nationality that is. That's a great name. So if you don't mind, there you go. Well, welcome, and this is for the construction of single-family homes, and so I would assume you are the applicant, and we will go ahead and come forward. So I don't know if you've gone through this before, but throughout the public hearing, we start with you as the applicant, and then when you're done sharing, if there are questions for you, we will ask them. We will move to the staff report, and then we'll open it up for public hearing and any public comment. You will have the opportunity to come back again at the conclusion to add any additional comments you might have. And so thank you for being here tonight, and we look forward to hearing what you're doing. So go ahead and state your name again and your address, and then share with us what you're wanting to accomplish.
The address of my residence or the project?
Your current residence.
My name is Mark Kondratuk. My current residence is 318 Cemetery Road in Middleton. So the project before you tonight is, it's kind of a small infill project. What happened is that bigger parcel, kind of the flag lot parcel, was owned by a farmer, and he never, had it developed off, but it's intersected by Joseph Drain. And so it never got developed. That older subdivision there is, homes built in the 70s. And so this is kind of a small infill project, homes that aren't too big, under 2,000 square feet. One of them, playing around with my draftsperson, we put it at like 610, another one at 1910. There's a canal there running by, and so obviously there's a setback, so I've been talking with them, and that would need a licensing agreement. I've been talking with staff to kind of figure out, city staff to figure out what would be a good use for this property, not cram as many houses, and so they said kind of the utilities that are there kind of support, 2 residences, and it makes sense with the power company and the gas company and everyone else, so yeah, that's a small little infill project.
That's wonderful, thank you. So, council, do you have any questions? Okay. Oops.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. So access, what is the name of that road? It's too small for me to read.
West High Avenue.
West High Avenue? Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Thank you so much. We'll have you back. Thank you. Staff? Rodney, thank you.
Hi, Rodney Ashby, Principal Planner for the city. Mayor and council, Daniel's running to get the clicker. We forgot to grab that, so. Oh, thank you.
Oh, ask Norm. How's that?
I'll just use the mouse.
Okay, there you go.
So.
I'm glad you don't have a light bulb.
Mayor and council, the city council, or planning and zoning, voted to recommend approval of this item, and in the staff report, they've outlined several conditions that they recommended. But as was stated, this is a request for annexation and zoning to RS6 at yet to be determined High Avenue. This is a pretty straightforward project. It's an infill project that makes a lot of sense in the area. The applicant stated that they would like to do 2 single-family homes in an infill development. And they also submitted some some drawings of their project, potential drawings of their project, and I'll show you that in the slideshows. So it's a 0.84 acre property. It's part of a 19.57 acre enclaved area. Hard to see right now, but it's the highlighted blue just to the left of where it indicates MD Res in the middle of the slide there, that little triangle. So this is the comprehensive plan map, medium density residential, and I can zoom in. That is the property there, surrounded by medium density residential designation on the comp plan. The county zoning is R2 currently, and they are proposing, of course, the R6 zoning. You can see the current zoning surrounding them is primarily the RS6 zone, and there is some RS7 in the area, and then also RD to the northwest. It's a little closer view of that one as well. Here's an aerial view of the property. You can see, again, this area is developing out as single-family residential, and this is a part of that enclave property that's undeveloped. So to the north is Briarwood subdivision, RS6 zoning. To the south is an enclave vacant land and a single-family home. To the east is Briarwood subdivision, and to the west is the Joseph Drain and the rest of the enclave property. A little closer view there. Again, they would be accessing their property right here off of High Avenue, and the Joseph Drain runs along the back of this property right there. So there are utilities available in the area. And I've talked about the access already. Just a quick note on the access, they will need to have a common shared use drive agreement as part of their development. And I think you'll see that on their concept layout. But there again is a little closer view of the property with the utilities in the area. So I didn't receive any correspondence from neighbors in the area, but we had several agencies respond, and a couple of the ones that are significant there are Nampa Meridian Irrigation District will require the land use change application, and that the Joseph Drain will be protected, and that the surface drainage will need to be retained on site, as is typical of most developments. City of Nampa Engineering did have comments. They asked for a cross-access agreement as part of the project. Each parcel should provide each city utility prior to the development of the parcel, and then access shall be from the west end of High Avenue. And that area should be, I'm going to go back a little. That area should be improved with typical development for sidewalk and roadway widening and that type of thing that will be consistent with that area. So these are the drawings that the applicant provided to us late last week. Didn't get into the staff report, but these are his concept drawings. And let me zoom in a little bit on the layout. You can see High Avenue would be over here. That's how they would access. And then their direct access from the common drive would be to the north and south of each of these properties. Staff finds that this is consistent with the comprehensive plan. It's an infill development. Thank you. It's an infill development. The applicant stated that the homes will be approximately 1,500 square feet. And just as a note, they will be required at building permits at that stage. They will be required to meet all those conditions and the codes at that time. And then the concept layout appears to comply with the conditions of staff. So again, the recommended findings are stated there, and the staff recommendations, recommended conditions is presented in the correspondence and as outlined in recommended conditions of the approval in the staff report. And this is the action before you today, and I'd stand for questions.
Mayor Kling?
Yes.
Rodney, looking at the enclave parcel, I'm not sure if, is that to the north? The larger piece that's eventually going to be developed past the drain line. Is that, the subdivision that's there to the left of that, is that a stub street for a future connection point there out of that subdivision?
To this property?
No, to the other property that's left, the larger parcel that's still there.
Oh, yes. Yes,
That's
that
a-
is a stub street. Daniel, any comments on that?
Mayor, Councilman Haverfield, so there is a stub street here from the Granite Basin subdivision, and then this High Street stub street here. The proposed development that we've seen come in on this, that I don't believe has come before you yet, takes into account connecting to this stub street, but not crossing the drain. For the amount of ground here to extend the road across the drain, you would knock this down to a single home where they have the access over here to come in for this other development. It's not
Right.
necessarily.
That was my only concern, was the second access point. You have the primary on Lone Star, but a secondary one for a full subdivision would be lacking. But
Correct.
as long as
There
it's
is
taken
one
care of there,
here
then we're
out of
fine.
Granite Basin.
All right.
Are there any additional questions for staff at this time? Thank you, Rodney. So this is a public hearing, and actually, we have no one signed up to speak in support of or in opposition of. Is there someone here that had intended to testify on behalf of this item this evening? Okay, seeing none, I would like to give the applicant an opportunity to make any additional comments based on the questions that came forth. And then, council, you can think if you have any additional questions for our applicant.
So I forgot to mention about the setbacks for the irrigation canal. So I did meet out there with their supervisor for the maintenance, Greg Curtis. And so initially I wanted more, but he told me kind of the reasons and how much they wanted to bank. So the proposed plan, I did take into account what he would recommend to his board of directors. I haven't submitted the application yet because they said they wanted it completed from your side before seeing that application come through. And I think that answers what I had to bring up.
Does anyone have, go ahead.
Mayor, yes, Mr. Contradu, I'm sorry. You and your wife, are you hoping to live in one of these residences, or
Yeah,
where you?
so the residence on North will be a primary residence.
So we get to have you move from Middleton, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was a Nampa resident, but I sold that home to buy this parcel, and so.
All right, very good.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions or comments? Okay, so I would stand for a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And what is the will of the council?
I,
Mayor?
go ahead.
Sandy? Councilwoman Levi, excuse me.
Thank you, ma'am. I would move to approve the annexation and zoning request on High Street, a great infill project, including the conditions of approval in case number ANN 120-19.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? I would like to just say, this is awesome. I'm happy for you. And to me, that's entrepreneurship, right? Where you see an opportunity, and I hope it works out wonderfully well for you. And infill and this type of development is great for this community. So I wish you guys the best. Okay, roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Gog?
Yes.
Hogaboom?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
There you go. Congratulations. Item 6.2 on the agenda is an action item, and this is annexation and zoning to RML, which is limited family, multifamily residential at 1111 East Iowa Avenue. And this is for Anthony Sparks for the construction of a fourplex. And the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended RD zoning. And so we'll look forward to hearing from staff on that. But at this time, is the applicant present? Thank you. So you probably heard the instructions we gave to the last group. So thank you for sharing your name and your address and telling us a little bit about your project.
Hi, Mayor King, members of the council. My name is Marla Carson. I'm with New Design Architecture at 725 East 2nd Street in Meridian, Idaho. And here to talk about 1111 East Iowa Avenue. We are requesting a rezone to RML. The staff is recommending an RD, but we still would like to request the rezone to an RML. The reason for this request is we would be allowed to have a fourplex on the property without requesting a variance for that. And also we'd have an opportunity to do a 3-story, which would allow us to do parking on the main level, and then the middle level would be living space, and the 3rd level would be bedrooms. So we realize there's a need for good multifamily projects in Napa and affordable housing for the residents of Napa, and that's what my client is aiming to do. If we're able to get approved to put a fourplex on the property, he desires to live on the property, and that being the goal to help keep the property in good order and good condition.
Are there any questions for the applicant?
Mayor?
Yes.
Marla, could you please define affordable?
I actually don't know exactly what the range the tenant is asking, but this would be apartments that could be for, people that are just starting out. He would be competitive with other comparable housing in the area.
Thank you.
Are there any additional questions for the applicant? As you know, you'll have the opportunity to come back at the conclusion of the public hearing, so thank you very much. And staff, Norm.
Yes. Again, I don't need to restate the purpose, but this is a 3/4 acre parcel. The actual size is 14,938 square feet. With the annexation of this, however, it will require a dedication of some additional right-of-way for the widening of the street there, and that will reduce the size below 14,000 square feet somewhat, so that they don't have enough land area to build a fourplex on there under an RD zone, and that's why they requested the RML zone. The RD zone, or the RML zone, would allow a fourplex based on the size after the right-of-way dedication. The only clincher here is that the comprehensive plan land use map doesn't support the higher density classification that would need to be required to get the RML zone. And so that's kind of the reason and findings of the commission on this. Specific information, we do have water and sewer available, no irrigation services available there. The access to this parcel is from East Iowa. The area zoning you see in the middle of the drawing there, the little square there is the site. You see pretty much around the area, the zoning, you have RD zoning, you have RS6 zoning, you have RA zoning. You do have some RML zoning up here in this area. But there is no adjacent RML zoning nor comp plan designation adjacent that would support the high density comp plan, which would require to be present in order to get the RML zoning. As far as the immediately adjacent zoning, you have RD to the north, you have to the south the RS6 zone, to the east the county R2 zone, and again to the west the RD zone, which would be the same as what the commission recommended to the north and to the west. In terms of the comp plan, you see a high density designation to the north here in the Timber Lake, I believe it is, subdivision up there. And you see a high density designation here to the west down Iowa is somewhat of an anomaly. But again, those two designations are not adjacent to this and cannot be considered to be stretched to accommodate an RML zone on this parcel. As it exists, the adjacent comp plan to the north is medium density, to the south is medium density, to the west it's medium density, and to the east we have what's called a employment center designation. And that is being proposed on our comp plan update to change all of this employment center area back to a medium density residential designation on the comp plan. So that further enlarges the comp plan in terms of supporting the RD zone rather than the RML zone. Aerial view of the neighborhood, you have the parcel right here. You have an existing fourplex complex here to the west. And again, the property further west is also slated for some additional multifamily development. It has RD zoning on that property. And there's a street view of the parcel looking in from Iowa to the parcel. This is the property line on this side, property line on this side. Fourplexes adjacent. And in terms of correspondence, we've received no correspondence from the area residents. We did have a couple who I believe are here this evening that attended the Planning Commission hearing that will probably be speaking on this. No utility company correspondence. The Engineering Division did have no objections to the to the annexation of the zoning, subject to the 30-foot right-of-way dedication on Iowa and the other conditions that are listed there and in the staff report. Again, the commission's findings were that, it does connect to the city limits. It's part of a larger enclaved area, so there is justification for annexing it and bringing it into the city. The area can be assumed to be used for the development of the city, and as it's already grown around it, basically. And again, the owner requested the RML zone, and that does not conform with the land use plan for medium density. And so the RD zone does conform, and that's why the commission recommended the RD zone. However, the RD zone, after the right-of-way dedication, would not allow a fourplex to be built, but it would allow a triplex to be built. And the applicant has indicated that if the council does consider approving the RD zone rather than the RML, that one option that they do have would be to come back to you for a variance for the lot size for a fourplex on there. I don't recall exactly how many square feet short it is of the 14,000, but it's not a huge number. So there may be some justification for a variance if the council determines to approve it in that manner.
So Mayor.
That's not a subject of the hearing tonight, the
Okay,
variance.
so Mayor Norm, I'm a little bit, I need clarification, I'm a little
Yes.
confused. Will you go back to the photo of the area? Yeah, okay, no, I'm sorry, the one that showed the driveway.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the property itself, where the applicant is hoping to have the RML zone, help me
Yeah,
show
it'll be,
that,
I guess this structure will not be there.
that structure would go, is that what I'm
That's
hearing?
right.
Okay, and then, all right, then,
And this is the property line over here.
okay, and right next to it, those large areas, what are those? Those buildings right there.
Those are fourplexes, you said, right? And the RD though?
That's right.
So could I clarify, and I think this is where you're going, because I have the same question. I was thinking that I heard you say there was no RML immediately adjacent, yet we do have fourplexes that appear to be immediately adjacent.
Right, but they are allowed in, they're in an RD zone there. And they had sufficient land area to accommodate them as fourplexes at the time they were built.
So it's just I'm sorry, Mayor, but it's just a land area then that's not allowing this to be the RD at this point in time.
The RML.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
RML. So, but I see initially when this was all stated, I thought there was stated there was no
land area-
fourplexes
The land
next to
area
it.
plus the comp plan designation is for medium density, not high density, and they need the high density designation to get to the RML zone.
Yet RD is high density? I mean, you have fourplexes, that it's high density.
Considered medium.
It's considered medium. Is a fourplex considered medium? Okay, so that's a little bit confusing.
It is a little bit, 'cause they're kind of on the
Doesn't
edge
take
of
much,
the
but I'm
lot size.
confused.
Is it based on the footprint? Oh, so the fourplexes were built in such a way that the layout and the footprint, you said it has the sufficient space within the RD?
It does not.
So not this one, but the one adjacent?
Oh, the one adjacent,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's how so it wasn't a variance request
There
on that
was, I
fourplex?
believe, a variance on
Okay.
that one. It was just the flat
And that's a
annexation
two-story?
in RD zoning.
And that's 2 stories?
I believe so.
I just have a question on the 3 stories that's being proposed. Is there a limit in the RD on levels?
That's right. They
Okay.
can't do the 3 story.
Okay, got you. All right, thank you.
So, okay. So I am a huge proponent for sticking to our comp plan intention. Because once we start spot picking here and there, high density versus medium density, I think that's really important that we look at our plan. However, this is a little bit confusing because we actually have a fourplex adjacent.
Yeah, and again,
So-
the fourplex doesn't mean high density in this case. It's the comp plan designation. I mean, it's the size of the property. You're
That
right.
matters.
That's right.
And the height is important too, because a
Right.
three-story appears to be significantly different than what is currently there. Thank you for explaining it to me. I appreciate it. I was a little bit confused. Councilwoman Levi, do you have a question? or
Mayor,
comment?
thank you. Norm, so if it could not be the 3-story because it was in RD, is there adequate parking? Because if I remember, the applicant said that the main floor would be parking with the 2 floors
Well-
above living space.
If they build a fourplex, there may not be adequate parking, but there would be for tripod. They could possibly get, depending on their design, they could get parking. It's just how large the units are. You know, whatever space on the ground the units take up, you have to accommodate the parking.
So Mayor, if I may, I'm sorry.
Yes,
The design
thank you,
of the
sir.
units.
So I'm hearing a, possibility of our applicants coming back for a variance request. So, but there's no discussion at this point in time of making it a triplex rather than a fourplex?
Well, that, if you approve an RD zoning, that's all but they could get.
Well, that's what I'm,
That's right.
so the applicant has not approached you though with that being an
But
alternative?
they could ask for a variance to get to a 4-unit structure, yes.
I mean, I'm talking about the
Because
triplex.
fourplexes are allowed in an RD, yes, if you have a 14,000 square foot parcel.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying that the triplex has not been discussed by the applicant with the staff.
Yes, it was mentioned at the public hearing before the planning commission, and the applicant and their representative that was explained that you could get a triplex on there under the RD zone.
But in your understanding, that was not an alternative that they wanted to consider?
That's what I've been,
Okay.
that's what was,
I guess I can ask them personally when
that's what was
later, okay.
expressed here this evening, yes.
All right, thanks.
And just one last question. The map is correct. The adjacent neighbor to the left, 1115, and all the parcels on that side are in the county. Is that correct? Outside city limits.
Well, the parcels to the west are all part of the city limits.
Yes, to the east.
To the east.
So the house that was in that picture, for example.
That's right. To the east is enclaved area. All of the area shown here is enclaved area.
Should be annexed.
So are there any other questions from council at this time? Okay. Norm, thank you. So this is a public hearing, and we have 3 people that are signed up to speak this evening in support of. We have Fran Tarkentine, I believe. Is that correct? Is there someone with that name? Is there a Fran? Is there?
I'll be asking for an autograph.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too.
Me too. I thought he had died, though.
I think so.
Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Minnesota
so
Vikings.
that person, obviously, that's not here. I don't even know who that is, so maybe I should.
Hall of Fame quarterback for Minnesota.
If I had known that, I wouldn't have read it. Okay, so you can all smile. So, okay, so we have two people signed up in opposition. I can't tell if this is Audrey or A.C.K. Wilson. Are the Wilsons here? I'll let you tell me your first name. Come on forward. So you will have 3 minutes to share, to testify this evening. So as you come, please give us your name and your address, and then you'll have 3 minutes to share.
My name is actually Arlie Wilson, and I live at the end of the road at 1119 East Iowa Avenue. And we like it county, thank you very much. So, a lot of single-family homes, lots and lots and lots of single-family homes. And they tried to develop the area across from where they're doing it, and they wanted to put a bunch of multi-family units in and all that kind of stuff. We've been there over a decade, and we know the kind of crime, headache, and all the other stuff that comes with those fourplexes. We pick up trash, we get cops coming down, looking for people, all that kind of stuff from those low-income apartments. So when it come time that they were gonna put other low-income apartments across from those, the whole community got together, we signed petitions, all that kind of stuff. We went before you, and you guys denied it. You put it to double family homes. You put a height restriction on it. They're nice homes. They developed them great. We have no problems at all with crime, trash, anything like that. They take great care of it. And we thank you deeply. Our community thanks you very, very much for listening to us as a neighborhood. I hope that you can look at it like this. How would you guys feel? You bought a dream home. It's your dream home. And 2 houses down, they want to tear down the house that has been there for years, and they want to put a multi-family unit in. And you know the headache that's going to come with it because you've been living it for 10 years right next to it. And in fact, the person that sold this place, he had a special needs child, and he had moved to New York and all that kind of stuff. Well, he was one of the big fighters because he lived right next to that those fourplexes. He got kids throwing rocks at his dogs and people throwing trash in his yard and all that kind of stuff. So he was firsthand in fighting against that. And, you know, money changes people, and, you know, it's kind of funny that now this piece, they're trying to do that to us again. And I just hope that you can put yourselves in our shoes and deny it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person that has signed up is Tiffany Wilson. Tiffany, thank you for sharing. I would assume, I think your address is the same, but go ahead and state it again if you don't mind.
Our address is 1119 East Iowa at the end of the road. And we've actually been there for almost 20 years, so we've watched all the development come up around us, and it really is kind of a bummer because that's not, when we bought the place, that's not what it looked like. And I mean, I understand growth and all of that stuff, people buy property, but I think my big concern would be the 3 levels, the 3 stories, because that would be so huge. Like, they would be peering down on us, and I'm just not down with that. I don't think that would be very cool at all. There's nothing else anywhere close to 3 levels anywhere around us that would be that tall. So that's a huge concern of mine. I think the triplex sounds nice. I think we could handle that, but you know, the fourplex, it is a small lot. That lot's pretty small. It's got just a tiny little house on it right now, and to see that they want to put a big giant fourplex on there seems big and just crazy for right there. And you've got the house that's next to us, and then the house that's next to that property, and if you put a 3-level on there, it's just going to look ridiculous. I mean, it really is not going to go with the flow at all. Like I said, there's nothing on there that's that big. And those fourplexes are big enough, and I don't even know how those got passed. I really don't, because those don't go with anything else that's in the neighborhood. So that's just crazy. But I hope you guys do think about it like it was your own place, because like I said, we've been there almost 20 years, and we've watched it all change, and it's a bummer. It's not what it was supposed to be. Thank you.
Thank you. those are the only two people that I have signed up at this time. Is there anyone else here that had intended to testify in favor of or in opposition to this particular project? Okay, seeing none, this is an opportunity for our applicant to come back and provide any additional information.
I am Marla Carson at 725 East 2nd Street in Meridian. And I just want to clarify that between the RML and the RD, the height requirements are the same. It's the story requirement that's different. RML does allow the 3-story. It would require us to have a flat roof in order to do that. And the desire there is just to have a garage, which would include, that would increase the value of the property, is to have a garage for the tenants to safely park their cars. We are open to the 2-story. We can fit a 4-plex. We put a design on that we've done previously. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, very nice 2-story design, and we can fit all the parking that is required for the zoning. So both those options do work. And again, one of the reasons why we are reduced to the 3-plex per the RD is that the 30-foot right-of-way is actually capturing quite a big chunk of the property as it is now.
Council, do you have any questions for the applicant? Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Council, do you have any additional questions before we close public hearing?
Mayor, I have one. Maybe it's for Norm, and maybe I should have heard. So the petition that I heard from the, I'm sorry, I forgot your last name already, but did you, was this for the previous development, or did you receive a list of 60 names regarding this development? It was for a previous. Okay, I just wanted to have that clarified. Thank you.
Question for Norm. Could you just verify comments that she made as far as what would be allowed as far as the height with the flat roof? And it's just the story level designation?
Well, I believe that the 2.5-story, I need to look it up in the zoning ordinance actually on the RD, but I think they can go higher in the RML than the RD, I know that. But
I don't know if you have your laptop, Rodney, which whoever gets to it first, it's going to be very important that we have accurate information on this in order to have an action. If you would, that would be appreciated.
let's see if I can find it before he gets back.
For an RML zone, Mayor Kling, the height limitation is 3 stories, 30 feet.
Maybe, can I ask a question of legal this time while he's looking?
2 stories or 30 feet.
2 stories or 30 feet?
Or 30 feet.
For RD?
For RD, 2 stories or 30
2
feet?
stories, 30 feet. So the 30-foot is the limit because of the fire apparatus more than anything else.
That's 2 stories.
So it could be 3 stories if it's at 30 feet. So it's whatever.
RML.
It has to go to the
RD
RML
cannot
to get
go
the 3
to-
stories.
Okay.
Right.
The request before us, I guess, for legal is just to simply either approve this request. It's not, it would not default to the P and Z's recommendation for the RD. Is that?
Well, the commission recommended RD.
Yes.
They recommended denial of the RML and
Yes.
recommended RD.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I understand, the commission, or the council could accept their RD recommendation and approve that as one option.
Okay.
Or deny it, I guess.
I'd like to, legal, is that correct?
Yes, Mayor and Council. So the action before you tonight would be to either approve the RML zoning as requested by the applicant or go along with the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation to do the RD, or you can deny all of it. But this is just for the annexation and zoning, so this has nothing to do with whether or not there's a variance coming back, whether it's a triplex, whether it's a fourplex, just annexation and zoning.
Follow-up question then. So if we went with the P and Z recommendation for the RD and the annexation, is they're actually they're annexed by action of the council tonight? Or could they say, no, we don't want to be annexed because we wanted the RML?
Mayor and council, they would be annexed.
They would be annexed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
There.
they'd have that RD zone, yeah.
So,
Which, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I guess a question I have they considered that most of the surrounding property is either enclaved or it's RS6, besides the RD? And I have to say, as a city, I hope that we will stay consistent because this is single family around here, with the exception of an area that all of a sudden has multi right in the middle of single family. And those are those things that, as a city, I would hope that we would be very mindful in approving things that we put a multifamily in the midst of single family. Councilwoman Levi, I'm sorry.
I was just wondering if we had closed public hearing, if we can deliberate, or if we can.
We
say
have not
something, I
closed
don't
public
know.
hearing, so we are talking a little bit with it open to allow opportunity. It would be at the will of the council.
Yeah, so I guess the follow-up question is, the request, if we denied the request, we could suggest the P and Z recommendation, but that would not be a forcible decision of annexation, because if a motion was made to deny this request, then we're not annexing the property in. Is that correct?
Correct. If you deny the entire
Yeah.
thing, yes, correct.
But we are allowed to comply with the comp plan in denying the request, but going to something that's within, and people would still, meaning, I guess what I'm trying to get at, do they run the risk of being annexed even though they're not getting everything they want?
Mayor and council, yes, in the sense that they're going to receive city services and be annexed, whether or not the zoning designation is designated as RML or RD is going to control what they can put on that property.
Okay, thank you.
So I guess I would have a question for the applicant, and that is, if they do not receive the RML designation, do they still want to annex into the city? Yes, please, thank you.
Marla Carson, yes, he still would like to be annexed.
Okay, so Marla, you're here representing a client, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, you're not personally doing this work?
Right.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, council, do we have any other questions for Norm or the applicant at this time? And if hearing none, I would stand for a motion to close the public
So
hearing.
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So this would be the opportunity for council to further discuss.
Mayor?
Yes.
So I just want to make sure I understood this correctly, because I don't like the idea that an applicant comes forward thinking one thing and then we change it on them if that's not what they wanted. So when the applicant's representative came forward, they were agreeable to the annexation and zoning under the requested zoning of staff.
RD. If we came back with RD, they said they would agree to going ahead and annexing at RD versus RML if we were going to not allow RML.
Okay, and I do appreciate that clarification, but my other concern from the very beginning when I first heard this, to echo what the mayor was saying just a moment ago, this is typically single family, and putting something in the middle of it, even though we have this fourplex kind of strangely running through there, I just don't see how that really fits with the surrounding area. And I like to respect the rights of property owners on both sides. I know the existing property owners have rights, but the developer or the purchaser of the other property has property rights that we need to look at. But at this point, I just don't see the fit.
I'm ready to make a motion. Unless somebody wants to talk some more.
You're surprised.
I'm looking at you.
You're welcome to.
Okay. Mayor Kling, I believe that I'm going to support the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission, who voted to recommend to us a denial of the requested RML. So my motion would be to deny the RML, to allow the annexation and zoning be allowed to RD instead of the RML, with the conditions of approval as so stated in the report.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. Roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Brunner?
No.
Levi?
No.
Skog?
Yes.
Hoagland?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
I believe that passed at a 4-2. Okay. So that concludes that public hearing. It did pass with approval of annexation, but to RD, not to RML. Okay. So with that, that concludes, that is the last agenda item. I don't believe we have missed any. And so thank you all. And I would stand for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
See you in the morning.
8:02.
Is
We will
lunch
be
provided
here,
tomorrow?
yes,
Wow.
it is. Lunch will be provided.